Hello everybody, welcome to the WaveMV webinar for WX100. The WX100 is a revolutionary machine that can bring down your inspection time from 25 to 30 minutes down to under a second. So this saves you time and money for your inspection process. The system that you see on the screen right now is the WX100. This is the 3-inch unit. This is our largest size. With this, you can inspect a 3-inch by 3-inch part in under 1 second. You have multiple parameters like threads, widths, heights, angles, radius, and many, many more parameters that can be inspected in one shot. This system also comes in with a rotation unit so you can inspect concentricity. You can see that on your screen now. This comes with a motor, standard, built in, so you can do concentricity inspection using this rotation unit. We also have 2 sensors on the system, and the system comes with a built-in PLC as well, which allows you to have the operator be able to do poka-yoke sensing by, if there's a good part, they have to cut the good sensor, and a bad part has to cut the bad sensor. With this, we make sure that even though it's a manual system, the parts will go into the right bin. So now moving directly into the unit, we really got started with this unit because when we saw a part like this inspected, I was actually at a manufacturing site and I saw that the inspectors were taking about 25 minutes to inspect this part. We looked at our design team, we went back and said, we can do this in under a second. We can revolutionize the inspection process by bringing the time to inspect this part from 25 minutes down to a second. And that's what we did. We designed the WX100 to do exactly that. Let me go right into the unit. So the unit, the WX100 comes with a built PC, Windows 10 PC with the software installed. So all you have to do is click this icon on the PC and the software opens up. So this is a live shot of the system, and if I wave my hand in front of it, you'll see that it's live right now. So I'm going to put this part on the system. It's already saved. So when a part is saved, you'll see how easy it is to pull it up and inspect that part. You can pull it up by clicking the product search and typing in the name of the part, or the easiest way is to click that part search magnifying button. When you click that, the system automatically searches the database and pulls up any parts that match this description. So we have 3 parts saved that are very similar to this. So you select the one that you want and you click OK, and it's going to automatically start processing. There's no button that you have to press. There's nothing else that you have to do. We sense a part being placed onto the system. So if I take this part off and place another part and take my hand away, the system is intelligent enough to sense that a new part was placed and it processes the second part. I can take it off again and place it back on, and it'll sense again. And I can do this multiple times, 3 times, 4 times. If I have a batch of 25 parts, I could do this for 25 parts. Now, once I'm done with this, I can while I'm processing, I can click live reports here in the bottom, and I can see the results for as they are progressing. So if I want to see what's happening with the first 4 parts or 25 parts, I can do anything. And I can also see the trend line for different dimensions. So each of the dimensions has a different graph and pie chart that I can view, and I can see how it's performing in the production cycle. So now if I want to switch to a different part, it's real easy. I just got to click stop, remove this part, place the other part on, do a part search, and boom, it's ready to go. Processes, and this runs right away. So this part is set up with the rotation. So if you see in the bottom, I have 360-degree rotation angle and the number of images as 36. So every time I take this part off and put it back on, it's gonna rotate the part and it's gonna give me the maximum dimensions of each of these rotations. Now I can even select whatever I want, but you see over here in this video, we're taking the part off, we're putting it back on, it's all live, and it rotates automatically. Every time I take it off and take it back on, it will rotate. And you see the part count increments as soon as it's done. And you also see how fast it is. It's doing 36 images, all within the time. So even by the time the rotation is done, the results are already processed, because as it's rotating, we're inspecting each of those images and coming up with the result. So same thing over here as well. You can look at the live reports at any given time, see what's happening, and see the trend line, and it's all available to you. So once, if you run multiple batches and you want to come back and see a report from a previous run yesterday, 2 days ago, a week ago, a month ago, it's all saved within the WX100. So we have a report section. You can go to batch, custom, production, and even SPC, and click any one of those. That'll do batch for now. Click batch. You can select the date for the part that you ran, and select the product ID, the rev that this was under, what time I ran that batch, and just pull up. If this is for a particular customer, you don't have to fill it in if it's even just for your internal purposes. And now you can select any dimensions, or you can select all of them. It's really up to you. So if I'll select all, and then I'm just gonna click who is generating this report. I put in my name and click generate, and now the report pops up. So this is the report of what we just ran today, but you can do this for any date. So you see the lower limit, the upper limit, it's all there, and you have the name of the customer this is for, you have the product ID, and all the information is right there. This report can be saved as a XLS, or it can be saved as a PDF. And so you could either one, if you need to edit it, add more data or add more dimensions for different readings, you can do that in the XLS, or even just the PDF as is and send it off to any customer that you want. So I'll save that. The file is saved. I've saved it on the desktop, and I can just go in, open up that report, and here's your Excel file. Same thing in PDF. So the next thing I'm going to show you is, if you want to run an SPC report, all you got to do is go File, New, and SPC Test. So I can take the same part and I can run it multiple times. If I have 25 parts, 5 parts, 2 parts, whatever I need, I can run an SPC using that. Now, we need a minimum of 2 parts to be able to generate an SPC. So we take one part, we run it 5 times, we take the second part, we run that 5 times, and we do that multiple times, 5 times each for the number of parts that we have. So if I just click, I can do a part search again while doing the SPC. It pulls up, and now I'm gonna have to run this part 5 times each. And it generates the SPC. So the first part we run 5 times. So now once this is done 5 times, the system will ask to place a second part. So now we can click OK and go in and do the same thing for the second part as well. Like I mentioned, we need a minimum of 2 parts to generate an SPC report. And even these reports are saved off in the system, and you can come back to them at any given time. I'm just going to run this 5 times, and I'm going to do, just to save time, do 2 parts and show you the report just for 2 parts. But obviously you have 5, 10, 25, whatever you have, depending on the number of spindles that you're running, you can run this for as many parts as you like. And you see, it's so quick. It's so easy to run this, get your reports, and you don't have to, set it up, create an Excel spreadsheet, copy down the information, none of that stuff. So I'm done with these 2 parts. I'm going to click generate for that SPC report, and you see it's done. For the true trials, by parameter, you can select the parameters, and by parameters, this is done for the thing. You have the X bar and the R bar. Yep. So moving right along, now I've shown you how the general usage of the system is. So I want to show you again how easy it is to add a part, because all of these things that I did just now were previously added parts. But even adding a part is extremely simple. I'm going to go back to the original part that we started with, place it on the pedestal, and click part and add. So now I can set the rotation angle if I like. So I'm going to set it to 360 and 36. And I click capture. You can really set the rotation angle to even up to 1,000 if you want. It just takes a long time to process. So we found 36 images is pretty good. So now I have to select the part in the image. This allows us, this is required for the part search. So it's we use this for the part search. Now, if I want to correct the part with respect to any particular datum, just to make it vertical so that all the measurements are vertical to a particular plane, I can do that. So I select this edge and I did the angle correction. Now I have all these different parameters that I can add. I have diameter, height, chamfer, angle, all of these parameters. And I'll walk through one at a time. So the first one that I want to start is with the diameter. We go in and you see I just have to select an edge. Once I click diameter, select an edge. Select the other edge, and you have your dimension right there. So all I got to do is edit the parameter. I can, in the box on the right, I can change the name to whatever I want. And then I can add the tolerances right there. So if it's symmetric, we can do a nominal value with a plus minus, or we can do limits. So if you want to go, if it's not symmetric, like minus is on one side, it's off to on a different. You have an upper limit. You could do that as well. So I'll just put this as symmetric for now, for this first one, and I'll choose a nominal value, say 18.21, and then I'll put in the tolerance of plus minus 50 micron, which is plus minus 5. Perfect. And I click apply. And, simple. So that's it. So now, if I want to add another diameter, I can do that as well. And there's another cool feature that we have. We have the edge 1 and edge 2. So in the first dimension, we left the edges as auto. In this way, or WX100, the software is intelligent to figure out what's the best edge that you want. But if you want to make sure that the edge is on a minimum or a maximum, you could do that as well. So you can choose it by edge. So edge 1, you want to go minimum, you can do that. And edge 2 as well, you can do minimum or maximum, either one. So if we choose minimum for both, and And also we have another option over here on the rotation output value, whether you want this only for the first image or you want this to be rotated. So let's keep it for static image for now. And then we go back and I just choose, since I've chosen minimum, I choose that edge, I choose the other one. So you'll see that it goes to the minimum edge right there. So that's that. Now let's move to height. If I want to do height, I choose the height parameter. I'll choose the top edge to do total height. And then I'll choose the bottom base to keep it with respect to the base. And here's the total height. Now I can edit that, put the parameters in. If I want to add another height and I want to do a rotation value for that, I want it to be the maximum of a particular rotation. Like you see over here, what I've done is I've chosen the rotation value as maximum. So what happens, going to happen is this image part is going to be rotated 360 degrees. The 36 images are going to be processed, and the maximum of that 36 image of all those 36 images is going to be displayed, and that's what you're seeing over here. The next parameter that I'd like to show you is angle. Just choose a particular angle. The first edge, you can zoom in, choose the first edge, right click, choose the second edge, right click, and boom, you have your angle right there. And again, you can put in the tolerances, whatever you like. You could leave it as nominal or symmetric, and you can put the tolerance in. So I'll put it at 28 and then plus minus 2. So just to show you. Again, this also can be done for the static first image, or you could have this by rotation as well. So you have total flexibility on how you want to process your parts. The next thing is concentricity. Now, concentricity, you have to have the rotation on, and that's why I have the rotation on over here. You click that, it'll default to rotation maximum. And also you have, regular edge or different types of edge types that you can choose. So you choose one diameter, and then we go to the other side for the other diameter, and then you choose the concentricity, and it's going to give you what the concentricity is for this particular part. So you can set it again to tolerances. Over here you could go, since this will typically be a limits, you leave it 0 to a maximum number. So you limits, and then you leave it as 0 and a maximum number of whatever you want. And yeah, that's the concentricity. Now we have another tool called the line to point. So the line to point tool, it is what it is. It's a line to a particular point. Now you choose a line. Let's choose a line over here. So I'll choose a line. And now when we go to the point, we have to choose, we have three options. Either it's an intersection of two lines, intersection of a line and an arc, and a crosshair. So you can, with the systems, you just draw two lines. Let's choose intersection of two lines. So now I choose intersection of two lines, and I want to choose the height from there to that step. So I go line 1 and line 2. And so the intersection point of those two lines is what it's going to measure. If you see over there, if I zoom in, you'll see it has gone to the intersection of those two lines. Point to point, again, is the same thing, but it's now two separate points. So you can use intersection of two lines at on both edges, or you could even go, one of each other. So let's do that little groove over there. So I do edge 1, edge 2 to create the point, which is the intersection of these two lines. And then I go to the edge 3 and then the edge 4, which is the intersection of those two lines. And then I can choose either one of these different dimensions. We have the option, and then so I choose that, which makes most sense. And that's going to give me the point, which is the intersection without the chamfer. Now, moving to the arc. So the arc, what it'll give you is the radius of a particular arc. So you choose the radius of the arc. You typically want to make sure that these things are below a certain thing. So if I go to that little edge there and choose the arc and right click, and you have that arc. The radius is for that arc is 5 millimeters. So now you move to chamfer. So the chamfer is going to be the between two lines, two straight edges. So if I want to choose that chamfer, I got to choose the left edge, right click, and then the other edge. So the chamfer, the system is going to figure out this chamfer between those two edges, and you can choose typically the depth. So you choose the B and click OK, and you got that chamfer right there. You can even choose you could have even chosen the angle, and it would give you the angle if that was what was important for you. The next parameter that I want to show you is the line to circle. Here, you choose a line, and then the next edge is going to be the center of a circle, of an arc. So we're going to do that, choose that over there, and right click. It's going to give me the distance from the base to the center of the arc, over there, of that circle that was created at that point. So these are the features that we have, and we call the basic features. I'm going to move over to the advanced tab, and in the advanced tab we have the threads here. So this is a metric thread. Let me show you how easy it is to add a thread. You just choose the thread, draw a box around it, right click, and the system is intelligent to figure out this was an M14 thread, and all the parameters that are measured are right there. So you can choose any of the parameter that's important to you, or you can say click select all, and it will select all of them and display them on the screen. So that's it. So you see how easy it is to add parameters into the system. So let me click next. And I'm going to give it a name. But before I give it a name, I wanted to show you two cool features that we have. So you can upload a drawing file. So if you have a second screen, you can always pull up that, and you can view the drawing files for the parts when you're running them. Just add any PDF file, you click it over there, and it gets uploaded onto the system. So when you run it, you can see that. The other feature that I want to show you is adding an empty parameter. We cannot do IDs. So there's some parameters that cannot be measured on the systems, like an ID or a plug gauge, something like that. So if you want to do that separately, but still keep all the information within the WX100, you could do that. So we add an empty row, and we put in the tolerances in. So when you enter that, the system will automatically say whether it's good or bad as well. And then you can just click apply, it adds it in there. So it's part of the system now. So you click next, and let's put a name for this. Yeah, click save, and the part is saved. So now all I got to do is click the magnifying glass because it's saved. It should find it, and you see this was the new part that we added. So it's just click that, click OK, and it will run to all the parameters that we have entered. So now you're going to see that it's rotating 360 degrees, and as soon as it was done, it's asking for the value of that measured parameter. So you can take it off, measure something that you were not able to check, click OK, and this gets added on to the system. So now you'll see that we have not entered parameters here for the system, and that's why it's going off red. If I want to edit this part, I click stop, I come back, go back to the part and edit mode, do a part search, click on the part that I want, go in and edit any parameter. So I can either change the name, the tolerances, whatever I want to do, I can do that. and click save. I can even change the rotation angle. So if I want to change that to, 72 or 18 or whatever, let's just do, yeah, and I can just save it, click next. It saves. It asks for a password. So whenever you're going to edit the system, it's going to ask for a password. You could even, so that you protect whatever you have in there. And part is saved. And I can go back and run it. And you see here now, it'll show you when you select the part, it'll show you the angle has changed, and that diameter that we changed, we added the tolerances in, it's changed as well. And then it's going to ask me for the values. Simple as that. So that was a quick overview of the system. You see how easy it is to run a part that is already saved. Also how easy it is to add a part. We just added a part with multiple parameters right here in under 5 minutes. So I want to show you the preferences tab. So we have a preferences tab as well that you can go in, change the name of the add customers, add users. You can add several, the reporting section. You can change settings onto the system. Whatever you want can be done. We also have a help tab that gives you tutorials, and the manual can be accessed right from there. So with this, I will now open it up for questions. Who has the first question? All right, the first question that I see coming in is, what is the procedure for calibration? So that's a great question. The procedure for calibration is really nothing, because the system comes pre-calibrated. You don't have to do anything else. All you can do from every now and then, take a gauge pin that's pre-calibrated, that's measured, place it on the system and measure it. If there is if the values are not matching up, we can go to the file, preferences, and we have a correction factor page where you can change the horizontal for any horizontal dimensions, or the correction factor for vertical for any vertical dimensions. It's that simple. Oh, the number of parts in the system is infinite. You can store as many parts as you want. And even as a follow-up to that, the number of measurements for a part are also infinite. You can add as many as you want. Perfect. So if nobody has any further questions, we'll wrap it up. Please reach out to us at wavemv.com. Oh, I have a last question. What is the size of the machine? So the largest unit that we have is the 3" by 3". It's about 5.5 feet long and 1.5 feet wide, and even about 1 foot high. So that's the maximum size that we have. Everything else is smaller than that. Great. So thank you for your time. We look forward to hearing from you. Reach out to us at info@wavemv.com. We'd love to hear from you and answer any questions that you have. Thank you again for watching.